Justin Trudeau has announced he's stepping down as the Prime Minister of Canada and as the leader of his party. He's been in office for 9 years. He also announced the temporary suspension of Parliament. Mr. Trudeau has been under pressure to resign for months, with more than 20 fellow members of his Liberal Party publicly urging him to go. Well, here he is making his announcement on the steps of the Prime Ministerial residence in Ottawa.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. And it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Let's go now to our North America correspondent, Neda Tawfik. Neda, hello again. We watched that statement by Justin Trudeau a little earlier. Tell us more about what he had to say.
Well, Justin Trudeau said that he had discussed with his family his future. He described himself as a fighter numerous times, but as we heard there in his statement, he ultimately decided that given the internal battles within his own party, more than a dozen members of parliament calling on him to resign, that he decided he could not be the best option in the upcoming election. He said Canadians deserved a real choice. And he said that he would prorogue Parliament, so suspend Parliament until March, which would really stave off a kind of no confidence vote in the government for some time. But
so this is crazy, and it's true. It's happening in Trinidad and Tobago, where the Prime Minister announces that he's going to resign. Romania's Social Democratic Party, which won the parliamentary election on December 1st, also stepped down. So they've also withdrawn. And also in Austria, the Chancellor resigned. So could it be that we're seeing a domino effect, and it's more than merely a coincidence that this is happening around? So this is crazy. And it's true. It's happening in Trinidad and Tobago, where the Prime Minister announces that he's going to resign. Romania's Social Democratic Party, which won the parliamentary election on December 1st, also stepped down. So they've also withdrawn. And also in Austria, the Chancellor resigned. So could it be that we're seeing a domino effect, and it's more than merely a coincidence that this is happening around the world at the same time, contemporaneously?
These individuals have weaponized government, and we risk revolution, whether it's CEOs being in the street, whether it's a Me Too movement that had righteous components of it, or Black Lives Matter. What are these movements? They are targeting the wealthy. We are in the midst of a series of small revolutions to correct income inequality. And the reason these individuals have weaponized government, and we risk revolution, whether it's CEOs being in the street, whether it's a Me Too movement that had righteous components of it, or Black Lives Matter. What are these movements? They are targeting the wealthy. We are in the midst of a series of small revolutions to correct income inequality. And the reason we put an insurrectionist and a rapist in office is because for the first time in our nation's history, a 30-year-old man or woman isn't doing as well as his or her parents were at 30. Why? Because the majority of households are having the oxygen sucked out of the room, such that a small number of individuals and a small number of companies can be worth more than nation states. Income inequality is out of control. Our tax policy has gone full, and a small number of companies can be worth more than nation states. Income inequality is out of control, sucked out of the room, such that a small number of individuals and a small number companies can be worth more than nation states. Income inequality is out of control. Our tax policy has gone full oligarch.
Shalom to the elect of Yasharala. All praises and glory goes to our mighty power, Yahweh. Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the elect men feeding the sheep of Yahweh. Hashem Yahushai in sincerity and truth. This great gospel strictly coming out of our Bible, man. For the elect of the children of Israel. Yeah, this gospel is only for the elect of the children of Israel. That's who's going to receive this truth. Right? Because here we are in this society where the rich men are fleeing. Right, where the people who are on top, they're closing their businesses, they're shutting down, right? They're liquidating their assets, man. They're preparing for what? The end of this society, the end of this society. But you Negroes, you Hispanics and Native Americans, you still want to see fortune. You still want to see wealth. You more mega than the so-called white man. You more make America great again than the so-called white man right now. That's why you 2/3. There's no hope for you in Babylon the Great. Right? There's no hope for you in Babylon the Great, and you wicked jakes around the world. You're going to see the destruction of America, and you're going to weep. Right? You're going to weep, you're going to cry, just like them sailors and them shipmasters when they see the smoke and the torment of her burning. Right? That's the future of this place, man. These rich men, they will not be able to escape the judgment that's coming. Right? These men of this society who done fucked everything up, right? The earth is defiled underneath the inhabitants thereof. Right, these rulers, these people who've been put in power to make things good, but they done fucked everything up. They done poisoned the minds of your children. They done poisoned your food, right? They done lied to you about policies and politics just to get rich. That's why the Lord is shutting down everything, right? It ain't just politicians fleeing, right? You got schools being closed. It says full list of college presidents who have resigned amid of campus protests, right? All these things linking together, right? All these things linking together. You just had a democratic spirited government for the past, 4 years. And now guess who's in power? Nero, DJT. And now a lot of politicians, they feel they about to be, they about to get revenge on them. For what happened to Donald Trump underneath for Joe Biden's rulership, all this court cases, all these different things he had to go through, man. He's about to get revenge, right? It says full list of college presidents who have resigned amid campus protests, right? It says Columbia University president Manouche Shafiq resigned from her post Wednesday after a tumultuous tenure marked by criticism over her handling of the student protests of Israel's war in Gaza. What else you got? CEOs quitting at record pace, right? A bunch of CEOs. It says in the first 3 months of this year, more than 600 chief executive officers left their jobs, either through retirement, resignation, or being forced out. That's a 50% increase from the first quarter of 2023, according to the outplacement firm Challenger, Gray, and Christmas. Right? It's not good times right now, man. These people are not doing well. What's really going on, these men that's been put in these positions of CEOs and chief executive officers, right? These people be having meetings and they talking to each other about how, the narrative done changed, man. It ain't the world that their parents grew up in. Right now, what's in their minds? Get as much as you can and get the fuck out of Dodge. Right? They got a so-called worldly, prudent man spirit. They see the evil, right? They about to get the hell out the way, but guess what? They're being preserved through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Read the book of 2nd Ezra 9:1, and also they're measuring time. They're measuring the times. They watching. Just like they watching, we watching. Is this the time to continue being a leader of company, right? Or is it the time to get as much money as you could have got and get the fuck out of Dodge? Time to hide before this dollar collapses, before it becomes worthless. Right? It says, 2nd Ezra 9:1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure the time diligently in itself, And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest shall begin to visit the world which he made. Right? We're in the time of spiritual visitation from up in the heavens. That's why so many chariots are being spotted, are being seen. That's why it's being talked about at your Senate meetings and all these things, right? At one time it was a joke on television. Now these people are scared. Right? They're being visited by the chariots of the Heavenly Father, the angels. Right? Judgment is coming very soon. What does it say in the scriptures, man? This is the book of Revelation 20:7. It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations. Right? That's who Esau Edom. All right? After that 1,000 years, when he fell after the Roman Empire, he came back in power during the Renaissance, the rebirth of the so-called white man into who he calling himself Europeans, the Frenchman, the German man, right? The Anglo-Saxon, right? The Turks, right? The Ottoman, right? They became these different groups that so-called, they even stole our identity, claiming to be the children of the Most High. It says when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to the battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Right? And one thing they know, these CEOs, they know war is coming. Why? Because they watching money. They watching money. They watching for their investments. Is it a good time to invest? Should I keep buying things? Should we keep stocking up stores? Should we keep doing this and doing that? Right? Because all they are is businessmen. Right? All they care about is money. They don't give a damn about. We put a grocery store in the black community so we could feed the black peoples. They don't give a damn about that bullshit. They don't give a fuck about you peoples, man. They want to know how can they make money from you peoples, right? And who runs your society? It's a bunch of ex-businessmen, right? Ex-businessmen, lying motherfuckers, paper forging motherfuckers, right? It says they went up, and they went up on the breadth of the earth, compassed the camp of the saints about. In the beloved city, and fire came down from the Most High out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophets are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever, right? These devils know that their time is short. They about to go into this World War III. They about to eat nuclear missiles and they go into captivity. They go into the captivity, the false prophet, the Catholic Church, right? The beast in the system, the EU and the European Union, all these crackers, right? The Edomite nation, right? It says, and I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them, right? Because what's about to happen? We talking about a transition of rulership. Transition of rulership, right? This is why these rulers of this society about to be scared. Revelation 6:12, it says, and I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth and of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as fig trees casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind, right? That's when the missiles start dropping, right? And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, right? And said unto the mountains and the rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. That's what these people are hiding from, trying to get away from, man, the wrath of the Lord. The judgment that's coming from the Heavenly Father, man. They could feel it. Right? They could feel it, and there's not a damn thing they could fucking do about it. It says, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us, right? They're going to try to go into the dens, right? go into the holes of the earth, man. They done built these different underground bunkers. I mean, I'm talking about government type shit. Look like cities. Underground, you could drive full trucks, right? It's crazy when you look at these things. Look like some out of a fucking movie, right? Why did they do that? Because they know about these scriptures. They know about the judgment that's coming. That's why it says the man knoweth that his time is short, right? And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand, right? It don't matter. Your money ain't gonna help you, right? And you about to go hide so you could be the first ones to be taken into captivity, these Edomites. This is the book of Jeremiah 16:16. It reads, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and from out the holes of the rocks, right? That's the future. You hiding ass Edomites thinking you about to escape and flee, right? It ain't gonna be no escaping and fleeing this judgment. All right, I'm gonna read it again. It says, but behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and out of all the holes, and out of all the holes of the rocks. For mine eyes are upon their ways; they are not hid from my face. Right? It says, for mine eyes are upon all their ways; they are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things, right? That's why it talks about double onto these heathens, man. I'm going to go to the book of Isaiah 2:17. It reads, in the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. I'm going to read that again. The loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. And the idols he shall utterly abolish, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth, for the fear of the Lord, and for the glory of his majesty, when he arise to shake terribly the earth, right? When the Lord comes to judge the earth, man, right? It says, in that day, a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they have made each one for themselves to worship, to the moles and to the bats, right? To go into the clefts of the rocks and to the tops of the ragged rocks, for the fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty, when he shall arise to shake terribly the earth, man. Right? These men understand that when that judgment of the Lord come, man, your idols is going to become worthless. Right? And they going to understand why you think the Lord gave you for worshiping this bullshit. You've been worshiping this bullshit all this time. Right? And he's slowly taking things away from these people, the jobs. Right? He's taking away the spirit of mirth. The happiness is gone, right? These people, man, their clubs are closing, the schools are closing, right? The movie theaters are closing, right? These are beautiful times that we're living in. We're seeing the end of our enemies, the end of our enemies.